Have you ever heard the saying that it's hard times make strong men make good times make weak men make hard times. It's a cycle. We're at a point now where we have a lot of weak people. I'm gonna be gender inclusive here. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Millennials have become weak and naive and entitled. Not all millennials. I know most of the people who watch my channel are around the same age as me. We're millennials, right? But man, if there is a group of people in our generation that are just so worthy of criticism, empathy, but criticism. Take a look at this story. Australian and British bloggers held in Iran named. As you can probably guess, these bloggers wanted to show people countries that get a bad rap, and they got imprisoned in Iran. Now, fortunately, they weren't dismembered or murdered like many of the other people have. But why? Why do we have young people who think you can go to Iran and just gleefully mill about making your blogs? These countries are not safe. They've grown up in a safe bubble that we call America, the West, where you can show up to some of the worst areas and be okay. And they have a bias. This is my opinion. They have a bias that because everything is safe where they're from, certainly the world must not be that dangerous. And then they go, and then guess what? You're entering the wild, wild West. It's a metaphor, not really the West. I'm saying you're entering an open and lawless place where people won't respect you, you have no rights, religious extremism runs rampant, and then you go to these countries and what happens? People get run over, people get kidnapped, and people get imprisoned by foreign governments. Not only that, you're Australian and British, you're Westerners. I know you're not American, but you went to Iran. Okay, they're going to use you as leverage. And that apparently is what's happening right now. Let's read the story. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you would like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address. But the best thing you can do is just share this story. YouTube deranks independent political commentary, as I've said a million times. So getting stories like this over that hurdle is difficult. If you like the content, think it's important, share it on whatever platform. Let's read. They say, 2 Australian citizens detained in Iran have been identified as Jolie King and Mark Firkin. Ms. King, who also holds a UK passport, Mr. Firkin, were blogging their travels in Asia and the Middle East. They were reportedly arrested 10 weeks ago near Tehran, but news of the arrest and that of another British-Australian woman came to light Wednesday. Now, hold on. Why were they arrested? It's actually fascinating. They're calling them bloggers. I'm going to go ahead and assume they're vloggers, YouTubers, or something to that effect. Apparently, they were flying an unlicensed drone in a foreign country. I am so impressed by the arrogance of Americans. I mean it. To travel to a foreign country and think you can do whatever you want and that it's safe and it's just bad media lies. And now you're in an Iranian jail. Let's read on. They say, Australia said it had repeatedly raised their cases with Tehran, including a meeting between officials last week. Foreign Minister Marise Payne said she had lobbied on their behalf in a meeting with her Iranian counterpart. She described the detentions as a matter of deep concern on Thursday and confirmed that assistance had been offered to the families of the 3 detainees. We hope to see Mark and Jolie safely home as soon as possible, their family said on Thursday. The situation comes amid growing tensions between the West and Iran. Several dual nationals have been detained in Iran in recent years, including the British-Iranian woman Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe. Relations between the UK and Iran have also been strained in recent months by a row over the seizure of oil tankers in the Gulf. Australia also announced in July that it would join the US and UK in policing the Strait of Hormuz against Iranian threats. UK's serious concerns. I'm going to jump down. We'll come back to this. They say few details of the circumstances of their arrest have been made public, but the Australian Broadcasting Corporation said they had reportedly been flying a drone without a permit. And here we go. Let me point something out. Casey Neistat, big famous YouTuber, famous guy. He started using a drone for a lot of his videos. I believe a lot of his drone use was very illegal. Many people might not know this, but I was at least one point early on, a foremost expert in consumer and prosumer grade drone and media activity. In fact, I went down to, I believe it was called the Northeastern Drone Coalition, and actually picked one of the first drone test sites. Me and like one other person, a guy from the AP, we both showed up and we had a discussion about where the government should be teaming up with universities to test drone technology. I did all this. I flew a drone. I believe I may be the first person to fly a drone for a news broadcast live streaming from it back in, I think, 2011. Not that I'm saying this to brag. I'm saying I've gone through all of these motions. I've looked at the law. For the longest time, there weren't any, and the law started coming out. And you had people like Casey Neistat that just flaunted, I'm not trying to be mean. I think Casey's a cool guy. But he just flew the drone even in places where it was obviously illegal. The dude's brave, Some people got in trouble. But Casey would fly a drone around New York, around these buildings, and that's not legal. At the time, nobody was really enforcing it. What's happening now is it's really, really difficult to actually fly drones for in most places. Near an airport or, certain buildings that control airspace, it's complicated. What we see are these media hip young millennials who grow up in a safe place where they've got to worry about anything and don't understand how the law works. Go to Iran and then fly a drone? I'm surprised it wasn't worse. You're going to go. So I went across Europe and I had a drone with me and we flew it. We got amazing footage. I checked all of the laws. I checked with local law enforcement. I made sure we were doing everything right. Why? I understand how the world works. It's not a big playground of happiness and joy where you can do whatever you want. When you grow up in the United States, you're safe. Congratulations. That's called prosperity. That's called good times made by strong men. But these people don't understand how any of that came to pass. So apparently, they say this: our biggest motivation is to hopefully inspire anyone wanting to travel and also try to break the stigma around traveling to countries which get a bad rap. They spelled rap wrong. In the media, the pair wrote online. Congratulations. Iran gets a bad rap because they're authoritarian, they're religious fundamentalists, they imprison women who don't wear hijab. You can't just go there and fly a drone. Miss King, who has dual UK and Australian nationality, Mr. Firkin, were reported to have been traveling on Australian passports. They say the couple left Western Australia to embark on a major trip driving across Asia to the UK. They were documenting their adventures on Instagram and YouTube, where they had more than 20,000 followers. And there it is. You know what? I jokingly blame Casey. I would say something like, Casey, this is your fault. But I'm just kidding. Casey really inspired people. And so everyone goes out and buys drones. And drones are very illegal in many places. Just because they don't enforce it in the US doesn't mean you're not gonna get arrested somewhere else. Now you have all of these YouTubers who are flying drones left and right. I did it a little bit. I stopped. I did it 2 years ago when I tracked the laws, and I've been working in building. I was building drones and hacking drones since 2011. So I've been working on this stuff. I knew what I could and couldn't do. But these people see a YouTube video and go, I'm gonna do that, and then congratulations, Iranian jail. Man, it's amazing. They say they are believed to be being held in Tehran's Evin prison, where Mrs. Zaghari Ratcliffe is also detained. A source told the BBC that Mrs. King has been told she is being held as part of a plan for a potential prisoner swap with Australia. Congratulations. You've now become leverage for the Iranian government so they can get back someone valuable in exchange for you, a YouTuber who flew a drone. The second detained British-Australian woman is reported to be a University of Cambridge educated scholar who was lecturing at an Australian university. She has reportedly already been tried on unknown charges and jailed for 10 years. They say the cases aren't related. Wow. While the charges against her remain unclear, 10-year terms are routinely given in Iran for spying charges. And this is why you have to recognize the world is not a safe place. I think it's hilarious how, these feminists or intersectionalists want to have safe spaces because they're scared of being triggered. Meanwhile, the United States itself is a safe space. You want to know it's a safe space? The fact that I can go out in the street corner and yell, F you, Donald Trump, without getting arrested and getting locked up or lashed. I can give the middle finger to the president of this country. You want to talk about a safe space. The United States is the best safe space. But that means you might get angry when you hear me spitting and yelling and insulting the president. But that's just the way it is. I'm not hurting you when I insult people. You can wave your little sign in the air, but you can't hit somebody with it. And then they want safe spaces at colleges. Okay, go to Iran and demand a safe space. See what happens to a woman who's not wearing a hijab in Tehran, and they'll get locked up. This country is safe, and it's making people, it's making them soft. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. We've done our the generations before us have done such a great job in giving us this beautiful future. You know what I think about it as? If I ever have kids, they're gonna think we are poor. I will not allow my kids to grow up with access and wealth and resources. Absolutely not. They'll have a good education. They'll be taught the right things. But I believe you get these kids, when kids grow up with money, they don't understand how most people live. They can't understand what it means to not have. They become entitled. And we're seeing this with Americans. Not in the sense that all Americans are wealthy, but because America is so wealthy in general, they don't realize the rest of the world is not like this. It's dangerous. I'll leave it there. Stick around. I got one more segment coming up in a couple minutes, and I will see you all there.